guess I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother. I'll wear my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor.
Welcome back to Frame of Reference, the show where we feature music videos and kind of talk about the process behind them and how they were made. So today we have AJ Smith. We are featuring the video Cooler. So let's go ahead and just get started, like how you got started in music and like some of your influences and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, so it all happened pretty early. My godmother was a piano teacher, and the whole story is that I ran away with my family dog while my mom was in the shower, and would go and listen to piano lessons, and they could never find me. They were like, where did he go? And so I was like, and they called the cops and everything like that, and then they tracked me down, and I was just 2 doors down listening to piano lessons through the window, and it kind of just kept on going from there. You know, I fiddled in a bluegrass band in church growing up, and all that, and I loved being on stage. I loved being able to, you know, give that gift of like live performance to people. It was just something that I always enjoyed, and started writing songs when I was like 8, and well, I guess here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely get the bluegrass thing. I actually went to some bluegrass festivals in Kansas. My grandparents live there. And yeah, so that's a very cool influence to have, because like the musicality of all of that is just insane.
Yeah.
Who are like some different people that like you've worked with or you want to work with?
Oh man. Oh, the who I want to work with, that list could go on forever. But I think one of my first sort of, wait, this could actually be a thing moments. I got a scholarship to NYU in order to study music and songwriting and everything, which was awesome. And then Glenn Frey from the Eagles, he was alive at the time, and his daughter went to NYU. And I guess as you do when your kid is going to a school and you're one of the most successful songwriters of all time, you're like, hey, let's go to the music department. And he asked my teacher, hey, are anybody writing cool songs? Like, what's going on? And so my teacher played him some of my music and a couple other students, and it ended up turning into an invitation to open for the Eagles.
Oh my God.
Which was like,
that's ridiculous.
And then from there, I mean, it turned into a relationship, a mentorship, where I got to play him a bunch of my songs for every time that I was writing them and everything, and it was incredible.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, I miss him every day. I found out that he passed. I mean, I knew that he had been having intestinal issues and everything like that, and was in the hospital. And then I found out that he passed. I think I was just about to go and do an on-air interview for my first EP, which I hadn't gotten to play him yet in its entirety, and it was really tough. And yeah, I think about him every day.
I mean, that sucks, but that is still an insane story to have, to get to meet him and work with him. That is crazy. Yeah.
It was definitely an honor, 100%.
Gonna think about that for a second.
Yeah. And other people that I guess I've worked with then. I mean, I guess, from there, it kind of just kept going into working more with my fellow songwriting students, including, Peter Wise, Tiger Darrow, who have both gone off to do some pretty incredible things, and a bunch of other writers that I went to school with, and then I ended up having my first charting song while I was still in school. I wrote that with Alex Forbes and Aladdin Royale, and it ended up getting picked up by like Dub Vision and going number 3 in Australia, which was like, I've never been. I would love to go.
That's so cool.
Sounds awesome. I don't know. It's just worked with a lot of people since then, and
yeah,
they've all gone on. It's been really cool to see them then go on and do incredible things in their own career as well. My buddy that I wrote my song Billy Joel with, which is about my now fiance, her favorite song by Billy Joel, spoiler alert. He's now gone on to, he just had a cut with like Maroon 5 and everything. Whoa. So it's amazing how we're all kind of coming up together,
That's so cool. And it's also fun to see like how small the music industry really is.
Yeah. Like
you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, it's this one person, but then they know. So I don't know, the connections I've started to see, especially I've only lived in Nashville for almost 2 years, and the small connections I've seen are just insane.
It's amazing. I mean, yeah. I just moved down here from New York. About, I guess, 2 years ago too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And yeah, kind of same thing. It's like such a community, and everybody knows everybody, and I'm trying to be one of those people that knows everybody now. You know, it's pretty wild.
It's hard to find native
Yeah.
Nashvillians. Everybody's like, yeah, I moved here from somewhere else, and I'm like, it's a cool melting pot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun here.
I love it.
So I guess let's for a second talk about what this song was written about, what Cooler was written about.
100%. So Cooler, I've long struggled ever since I was a kid with the idea of, oh, do people like me? Do they not? I think that's part of being a performer, and you get up, and when they don't clap as loud after one violin solo, it's like, what did I do wrong here?
Yep.
And in no place is that truer than I think going on like a first date or something like
Yeah.
that. And so, you know, when I was going on my first date with my now fiance, so it did work out. I was like in my head the entire time thinking, and I was trying to just be myself and go with it and have a great, and it was a fantastic date. But the entire time I was like, wait, what did I just say? Did she think that was cool? Was that really nerdy? What? Oh gosh. And so I decided to write a song about that internal dialogue, and that's what Cooler is.
Very nice. I like that from the video. Definitely got that vibe, but it is fun to see because sometimes artists will write songs about something and somebody else will get an entirely different story from it. So I love like hearing that just to see if I was right, see if I got the same thing.
I try to be a pretty direct communicator, you know. I don't know if it always happens, but I try.
I get that. So what was your idea? Like, did you have the idea for the video as you were writing it? Did that kind of like come about later?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I'm writing a song, I'm visualizing to what I would imagine a super high level production budget would be able to get me, you know, just as a very visual person. And the way I originally envisioned it was actually at a retro diner.
Okay.
You know, like at a soda shop or something like that. And there's Elliston Soda Shop on, I think Elliston Place here in town.
I can't remember if I've been to that one or not.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's over by there's like the Buffalo Exchange and
no, I did go there. Yeah, that was a really cute place.
And so I wanted to shoot it there, but then of course with COVID, there's additional insurance issues when it comes to that. And at the time that we were shooting, we were still like, you know, restrictions weren't really easing up or anything. So we ended up kind of pivoting, but I still loved that retro obviously vibe. And so we thought, well, what if we did a drive-in movie theater? Because, you know, then we're outside, we're being responsible. The only thing we have to worry about is the weather. But, you know, and it turns out that the director, Whitney Wolonin, who she's amazing, a friend of hers who's now become a friend of ours, his family has all these vintage cars up in Kentucky. And so we were like, well, it sounds like this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that was definitely going into some other questions of like, where did you shoot it? Because it doesn't look like it was just like kind of put in a studio that looks like a real place. And also, yes, the cars. I'm definitely interested in the cars. Those looked awesome.
Yeah. They're beautiful. I wish I knew enough about cars to be like, that was the 1968 Oldsmobile, whatever.
They were pretty. That's all that matters.
One of them was a 63, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what. So I'm not a car guy. Sorry. But yeah, so we found this drive-in movie theater. It's right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky.
Okay.
And the manager there was awesome. We just connected over the phone. He went and listened to a bunch of my music, and you know, I explained the vision that we had that I had kind of talked through with my fiance, who, apart from starring in the video opposite me, also is a big part of my creative team, and you know, helps come up with the set design and wardrobe and everything like that. And so like we were like, okay, we can make this work. And yes, we went in. We got there early because he sent over a bunch of photos, but I hadn't done a site visit. Whitney, the director, and her husband, who's also the director of photography, and they went and did a site visit and sent me even more photos. And so then I was like, okay, I need to get some neon lights to go along the roof. And Brianna and I were talking about other things that we could do from a wardrobe perspective in order to bring everything together. We coordinated a bunch of the other people that were in the video. I kind of imagine like this Broadway dance number almost as part of it. Because my fiance is a Broadway performer.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
all of the people that were dancing are also like actors, actresses in that world as well, in musical theater.
That's so cool.
And that had all been unemployed for the most part for the last 2 years with the theaters shut down.
Yeah.
So I flew them down, yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. We did rehearsals over at a dance studio here in town, and yeah, I mean, it was great.
Yeah, that's cool. So the extras were like friends, people that you knew.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Even the couple that was making out in the car, they're actually now due to have a baby.
Oh my
which
God.
is really cute.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the video Cooler by AJ Smith.
I'm sipping on my honey ginger green tea. Cause when I drink coffee, I get jittery. And I'm already nervous when you're next to me. I pray to my watch, the time would just stop. I don't know what to say, cause I don't talk a lot. I'd love to spend a couple pennies for your thoughts. And I'm hoping you can get my stomach out of knots. I have to admit, I'm no good at this. And I hope that I made a good impression on you. And if I didn't, baby, maybe I can get a redo. And we can meet back here in a day or two. And when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother. I'll wear my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. Ha, I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. Blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler. Cooler? I wonder if you're laughing at my jokes on me. I don't know if you think I'm corny or I'm sweet. Oh, I'm way too wrapped up in these insecurities. I gotta calm down, think I'm blowing it now. And I hope that I made a good impression on you. And if I didn't, baby, maybe I can get a redo. And we can meet back here in a day or two. And when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother. Oh, in my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. Ha, I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. Blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler. Cooler? So cool. I promise I'll be cooler. A hell of a lot smoother. I'll wear my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. I promise I'll be cooler, yeah. No, I won't be no loser. I'll blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler.
Cool. So that was Cooler by AJ Smith. So I guess let's talk about like how long was the shoot? I mean, that was like up in Kentucky, so you had to like get up there. Did you like stay
Yeah.
the night before?
We didn't stay the night before. It definitely went longer than we thought it would. I mean, even when you put together your shot list and everything like that, and you're like, oh, we could totally get this done in 8 hours, and then you're at hour 12, and you're like, oops. But I mean, and we did make some changes to things on the fly where we're like, oh, well, I don't want to keep all of these extras here this late. It got to be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock,
Ooh.
almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We were like, you know what, we don't need to have this extra shot that has all of these people in it. Let's send people home, and we'll just kind of focus on telling the story with just Brianna and I. And I think to a certain degree that kind of maybe made it more effective, actually. Zeroing in on the story of the two of us a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we got to send some people home. So, But
That's
yeah,
cool.
we were shooting until I think 2:30, 2:45 in the morning.
That's crazy.
And then packing up, So,
yeah. That's crazy. Did you like drive home right after that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it was like a 45-minute drive home.
Oh, that's not
no
bad.
traffic.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So in one of those wide shots where you're like right behind the car, you got the lights and you can kind of like see yours and Brianna's heads right
Yes.
there, and you've got the screen in the background.
Yes.
Were you like currently running that video there, or was that edited in later?
That was actually projected onto the screen.
Nice. Okay.
The manager for the venue, he was there with us until 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And he projected the performance video, so it's interesting you bring that up too, because that means that we did shoot the video on 2 different days.
Yeah.
We shot and edited the performance video, I think, 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
At just a studio like this where what's it called with the wall that curves up? I forget there's like a technical term for it. But
Oh God, I have no idea.
What it is. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so we went and found a studio that had one of those spaces, and I had my bandmates come, and then my drummer was in the other part of the music video as well. So he got to hang out at the drums, and then he also was in the other video, and then he's in my new music video for my new song that's coming out soon. And he's like a waiter.
Cool.
So it's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. So why did you decide on having like your studio performance on the projector as like what you guys are watching versus a movie?
So I guess what I envisioned was me as that nerdy character, which is actually the real me, watching this movie, and in that movie, as if we were watching Grease or Back to the Future or something like that, seeing these characters who I'm seeing myself in, and thinking, oh, if only I could be that. If I could be that cool, then that would unlock this life that I want for myself, and that I would be smooth enough to make a move, or like, whatever it would be. I could hold the conversation and not be judged or anything, right? And it's really, at the end of the day, just insecurities playing.
Right.
What is it? Like, fear is actually all internal.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, what better, rather than showing like Grease on the screen, which I probably would have had to pay money to license or something anyways.
Yeah.
Instead show, okay, me dressed up as that character, and then that way I could end up on the choruses of the song show, okay, now here's me imagining that I am that character with that confidence, with that look in the car. And what I ended up loving about it is that even in those scenes where I'm coming in and I'm feeling smooth and suave, it still felt less real. And so then, and you're rooting for the guy, but at the same time, you're like, I kind of like you better when you're yourself.
Yeah.
And so then at the end, we show me as myself dancing with the same confidence and swagger, I guess you could say, as the other character, and then being confident enough to scooch a little closer, and then she actually makes the move. So
yeah, that was really, I liked how it like kind of went back and forth with that. For that like dancing bit towards the end, have you danced before? Did you have to like learn how to do that day of?
I did ballet actually for a couple of years when I was little.
Okay.
My sister did ballet growing up, and there were all these Nutcracker performances and things that I was going to, and I was like, there's not many guys up there, and it seems kind of fun. Like, I would like to try. And so then I signed up for some classes, and I loved it, and then naturally I was in everything because I was the only guy, or one of like 4. Which then I think my sister hated, because it was like, just joins ballet, still sucks at dancing, but in everything. And so I was like, oh, sorry. But I hadn't actually really danced since then, other than just like little things around the living room and like that kind of stuff, right? So it was a little hard for me. That's the great thing about film and television, is you can cut.
Yeah.
Everybody else that was dancing, though, they're all like professionals. And yeah, so we were in that rehearsal studio, and I was trying really, really hard to be halfway decent. And I think I actually did make it through a couple of takes completely uninterrupted without messing up too badly.
Nice.
They might not have been the takes where the camera's even on me, though. So.
I mean, I think it looked great.
Thank you.
Who did the choreography? Was that like all of those dancers, or?
So Weston, he was the one. He was dancing with Lyrica, who was in the red dress.
Okay.
And he has sort of the curlier reddish hair. And so he's done a bunch of choreography for other projects as well. But he and Brianna were in, I I think An American in Paris together. I'm trying to remember if I don't think they were in Anastasia together. I think that was Kenny that was in both with her, and Kenny was the other male dancer.
Okay.
So Weston did that, and he's awesome, and like we coordinated and talked a bunch ahead of time. He was sending me things that I was getting like a head start, like learning how to do some stuff before all the other dancers who learned it and like, oh, okay, cool, that's what it is, got it.
Yeah.
And whereas I was like practicing in my room with the door closed for like an hour and a half for a week, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's awesome. He's amazing.
That's so cool. What were some of your like favorite shots to get the like act in, or you just think like looked really cool afterwards?
Well, I mean, the shots that I really wanted to get and that I think we did, behind the car looking up where we're interacting and you can see the screen, that was one that I really wanted to make sure that we got, because I think it looks sick. You get the big drive-in screen and everything like that, and you get to feature the car and do some storytelling as well. And then I loved the dancing in front of the drive-in sort of snack bar when we're in our nerdy outfits. I thought that was super fun. That was probably, from a lighting perspective too, we had the sun had just set and it was just dusk and dark.
Nice.
And so it was kind of the perfect level of ambient light with then our actual lights, and it was I just thought that was beautifully shot, and I was really happy with how those turned out.
That's cool. What were some kind of like difficult shots?
Anything interior in the car, we had to figure out the camera angles a bit creatively, you know, especially because we were borrowing these cars and we don't have a huge budget, so it's not like we could like take a door off and, or do anything like that, you know, like they do in like actual big budget productions. So, probably those, and you know, trying to then make sure that the lighting was good inside the car, but that you couldn't see the light source. Yeah. You know, those kinds of things were a little bit trickier, but I think worth it.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought about that, about like taking doors off and stuff like that. Yeah. But like, I mean, it came out really well. I don't think I would have even noticed that.
That's great.
So there were a couple shots, I think more in like the performance part of the video where you had like the star filters kind of coming off of things. Did you have to use the filter on the camera, or was that like a different lighting technique?
Some of that might have been in post.
Okay.
That Jack ended up adding.
Okay.
But it's interesting that you mentioned the performance video too, because I kind of, when I was thinking, what were the shots that I enjoyed or that I loved, I was only thinking about at the drive-in. But the performance video, we got some really cool stuff too.
Yeah.
And you know, adding in that gumball machine that was it was in the location, and we were like, oh wait, that's exactly what we need, because there's some reflections off of there that we can capture, and then the sparkly guitar too. So kind of same color but just super sparkly as yours, right? We were able to get some great reflections off of that too, which was super cool.
That's awesome.
And then of course anything reflective always can cause issues too, but I mean, we had a great team. So
are there any other like fun behind the scenes stories that you can think of that you just like had fun shooting with all those different people?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, one of our dancers got a flat tire, and we're all up here in Kentucky, and so then like we're trying to also get food for everybody, and that was a little bit of a challenge. What was super fun too was when we first got there, and you know, I try to make sure, you know, all the people that are in it are my friends, and so then I want to make sure that they're enjoying themselves and having a fun time, and that we have good food, that it's just a great time.
Yeah.
And you know, setting up all of that while then also trying to make sure that the set is going to look how we want and everything. But we were having just a blast practicing the dance, and behind the scenes wise, I mean, figuring out how to, I think a lot of people were laughing at me, but it was with me because I was having fun.
Yeah.
And that was great. One of my favorite moments though from the entire shoot, I mean, it probably had to be 2:00 in the morning, and we were finally ready to just shoot the dance number of us in our leather jackets in front of the big screen.
Yeah.
And the people that were letting us borrow the cars were like, okay, well, we're tired. We're going home. We're taking the cars home. And I'm like, oh, gosh. So we don't have the cars there anymore. And I know everybody's tired. And I just kept messing up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not a professional. I'm trying my best. And then finally I like made it through a shot, and I was just so happy. And then they weren't even looking at me. And I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, everybody was such a great sport, and it wasn't necessarily like anything funny or crazy or wild happened because everybody's just a professional. But we laughed a lot. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun when it's still, it doesn't have to be anything crazy to just have fun, especially when they are your friends, and I think that helps.
I did just think of something
else.
Yeah,
go for it.
So, in the beginning of the video, I'm coming out of the snack bar with a popcorn and everything like that, and then that's actually Zach. He plays guitar with me sometimes, and he knocks the popcorn out of my hand and everything. And then the guy who comes over that works for the place and is like, "Oh, come on, what is that?" So that's my friend Jeff, and when you'll recognize him, I've now decided that almost in every video that I can get him in, I need to give him like a featured moment like that. And you'll see in my new music video that's coming out soon, just keep an eye out for Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Cameo appearances from everybody. It's going to be the same cast. Different decade.
Just tell like a different story every time.
Yeah, exactly.
So going back to like the 50s, you mentioned like Brianna was helping you with like the costumes. Did you guys like make those? Did you rent them from somewhere? Did you just find them in thrift stores?
A combination of everything.
Okay.
A lot of ordering online and returning.
Yeah.
But found. Yeah, I mean, I bought everybody the Converse shoes. I got the jackets and everything like that, make sure that they all fit. Bree helped me pick out all the colors and the dresses and everything like that. And the shirt, I had that sort of retro, sort of like this one, but, more like knit type shirt. And, she helped me put together all of the looks for everybody. We even got an additional, like, rolling hanger.
Nice.
There's a name for that, too, I'm sure. And so then and she was helping me steam all of the outfits ahead of time.
Yeah.
And it was
so was that your leather jacket beforehand, or did you buy that specifically for this?
That was actually already my leather jacket.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have to buy any of the others, or did anybody else?
Yeah. For other people to make sure.
Did you keep those or return those?
Returned some, kept some.
Okay.
So there were, like the red jackets that I had, I think Zach or somebody was wearing a red jacket.
Yeah.
Kept that. Jeff was wearing, I think, like a Coca-Cola shirt, a vintage Coca-Cola shirt. I kept that. I wear that all the time. And then there's some other things that I kept too. Yeah.
Yeah. You said you bought everybody Converse. Was that like a fun keepsake that everybody got to have?
I mean, just the dancers.
Okay.
But yes, they all got to keep that. Yeah.
That'd be a fun keepsake. Just be like, oh yeah, nice shoes. Yeah. I was in a music video. Got to keep them.
Yeah.
That's a great story to have.
Why not? I mean, there were certain things I was like, hey, yeah, do you want to keep this or should I can return it? And if people were down for me to return it, I was like, yeah, I just saved myself like $50. So
that helps.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned I did let the venue keep the neon lights that I bought.
Oh, nice. Okay. Those were on the side of the like concession stand, right?
Yeah, on the side of the concession stand. And I mean, he loved them, and from afar you could actually see the roof line. So I want to go back now and watch a movie.
Yeah.
There and see if he did the rest of the roof that way or anything.
That'd be cool.
Pretty cool.
Did you have to like pay for it, or was he just like nice enough to just be like, you can use the space and then?
I did. I paid a rental fee to use the space, but I mean, he was super accommodating because he knows I'm an independent artist, not like a major label guy or anything. So, super friendly with that.
Yeah. I love when people are good with that.
Yeah.
They're just like happy to help out.
Yeah. I mean, he stayed there until 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
He was like, geez. I think his name was Gary. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome dude. Yeah. Really awesome dude.
Gary, great. You've already mentioned you have a new music video coming up.
Yes.
Has the song come out yet?
No.
Okay.
That song is coming soon, and you'll be able to see me perform it on TV.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to say where or when yet. So
great.
Just follow me on all of my socials, and I'll keep you posted about it, I guess.
Nice.
EJ Smith Music.
Great. Anything else new coming up? Just that song and video? Do you have anything else on the horizon?
And more songs.
Great.
And more videos.
Okay.
And maybe we'll be back here talking about it.
I was going to say, let me know when it comes out. We'll definitely have you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us for Frame of Reference with AJ Smith and the video Cooler.
Thank you. Stay cool.